Karen had become almost predictable, in the way a hurricane is predictable. You know it's coming, you see the signs, but you can't stop it. And like every storm before, she arrived with the same explosive energy. But this time she underestimated the scale of the terrain she was attempting to conquer. It began with a demand. She insisted I relocate my vessel, a modest pontoon I used for inspections and recreation on the pond. Her reasoning? That the HOA controlled the water rights. Her audacity never ceased to amaze me. I was repairing the northern fence when her black SUV appeared at the edge of the property. Karen stepped out, papers in hand, voice sharp and unwavering. You must remove your vessel immediately. This is HOA property. You are violating regulations. I wiped my hands on my pants and approached the water, letting the sunlight glint off the surface of the pond. Calm, deliberate, measured. The way one faces a storm you know will break upon itself. Karen, I said evenly, you are under a fundamental misunderstanding. This pond is mine. Every inch, every dock, every vessel. There is no regulation, no law, no HOA rule that grants you authority here. Her lips quivered as she realized, too late, that she had misjudged the scale of the property she thought she could control. I gestured broadly to the pond, the gates, the entire property visible from where we stood. Control isn't about loud demands, Karen. It's about ownership, preparation, and law. And as you can clearly see, I have all three. She opened her mouth, likely to argue, but the moment was interrupted by the arrival of a small flotilla of neighbors, called by Karen in her panic, each unsure of what to do, each caught between loyalty and legal reality. I waved them over and handed out the ownership papers, permits, and surveys I kept meticulously organized. The expressions on their faces told me all I needed to know. Karen's authority had evaporated, and her supporters were realizing they had been misled. You see, I said, calm but firm, every attempt to exert your imagined power has consequences. Every claim, every threat, every emergency call you make, nullified by fact, law, and preparation. Karen flailed. This isn't legal. You can't. I let the words hang in the air like a guillotine poised above her plans. The water rippled gently behind me, the pontoon bobbing quietly, indifferent to her rage. I stepped closer, shadow stretching across the dock. Karen, the pond, the vessels, the gates, the fields, all mine. Step back, or risk criminal consequences for trespass and interference. She glanced at the deputies who had arrived, summoned yet again by her frantic calls. Their expressions were polite but firm, their eyes reading the truth in my documentation. The realization hit her like a brick. No one could save her. Not this time. Finally, with tires squealing and papers flapping wildly in the wind, she retreated. The convoy of vehicles that had arrived with her faltered, then slowly dispersed, muttering threats and complaints, leaving nothing but dust and echoes. The pond remained untouched, my vessel secure, and the gates firmly locked. I walked along the water's edge, letting the adrenaline drain and the calm return. The farm, the pond, the dock, the pontoon, all were secure, intact, and entirely under my authority. Karen's desperation had reached new heights, but her escalation had failed spectacularly, just as every previous attempt had. By nightfall, the stars reflected perfectly on the pond, and the air smelled of earth and water, quiet and undisturbed. The lesson was simple, but eternal. Ego, hysteria, and imagined authority are no match for preparation, law, and unwavering resolve. Karen had tried again. She had thought she could manipulate reality, bend authority, and force compliance. She had failed, again, and the farm, my fortress, my domain, remained untouchable, impervious, and undeniably mine. The storm had passed, for now.